Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GST Zen's webinar. Sir, we can start now, sir. We are also live on the YouTube.
All right. Thank you, sister. Let me share the screen. Screen is visible, right? Sister?
Sir, it's visible.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to GST Zen webinar, the learning for the audience. And it's been privileged to be, I would say that the knowledge is a continuous learning. And it is a privilege to be part of this continuous learning system. And special thanks to Vasishtha, Manisha, Lakshmi and Akhila for both managing the content, managing the presentation and getting things done. Yeah. Today's session we'll be talking about invoice management system. And we would look at what is IMS workflow, how GST Zen can be a catalyst in making your IMS workflow simple and easy. More importantly, to introduce GST Zen, GST Zen is an ASP and GSP. My name is Venugopal. I've been part of GST Zen since 2016. 1st July 2017, when GST went live, GST Zen was available on the day one to help customers in filing the returns. Most talked application of GST Zen is the compliance dashboard and consolidated return filing status, which is downloaded as an Excel file, where the users get on a single click a view of GSTR 1, 3B, 2A, 2B on a click every month, detailed and a summary. Apart from that, GST Zen helps in streamlining the reconciliation, automatically emailing the differences to the vendor, giving a snap to the management or the person in charge of the filing on a YTD basis what has been filed. There are a lot of free tools available. There are a lot of different developer portal applications where a third party can integrate their application with us. And to know more about us, you can always reach to our support system. Let's start with today's session on IMS invoice management system. The way the session has been designed is I will spend 20 minutes on the theory part of it, bringing everyone onto the platform. What is more important part of today's session is my colleague Manisha will walk you through as to how the IMS can actually be implemented by the organizations. I am a biggest advocate of use of technology in day-to-day operations. By technology, I'll give you a classic example. I'm sure most of you here are filing returns, or maybe you're at a managerial level, your team is filing the returns. Intelligently, you will be using Excel in reconciling. But what is more important is tracking the changes, tracking the missed out credits. This year, GSTR 9 has been changed by introducing 6A1. I'm not sure how many of you have noticed it. Asking you to segregate the credit, what is pertaining for the current year and the previous year. Now, how is it relevant in IMS discussion? Very much. IMS is more about managing your invoices. Now, equally important that you should be aware of the credits that you have availed, credits that you have parked, credits that you will be availing on the future date. Today, if you go to the government portal, on your returns, you have electronic credit reversal and reclaim statement. You can download, there is an opening balance, what is the monthly accumulation, monthly reversal, and what is the closing balance. Do you have an invoice-wise, line item-wise reconciliation report of the credits that have not been availed and to be availed future? You may say, hey, look, these are my monthly returns. Every month when I open, I'll tell you what records I have not taken. Why you have not taken? You have a valid reason that the invoice wouldn't have come, or the purchases admin manager has not approved it, or you really don't know it pertains to you or not. And in the IMS, you might have kept it pending, or you have availed and parked it in 4B2, either of it. Do you have a track of it is the question. And when you use tools like GSTzen, it would help you in tracking that. And that's all about today's session. You being there in the session, make most use of it. Any questions that you have, put it into the Q&A section. Our team will answer it. If not, I'll be available. Feel free to get your answers clear. Starting with IMS. Is called an invoice management tool, which is introduced by GSTN to help taxpayers manage their invoices on the GST portal. It allows you to both supplier side and the recipient side to check what is the status of the invoice. As a supplier, I have raised the invoice, so I know my invoice, but the recipient don't know the invoice. So IMS is a dashboard to show these are the invoices generated by you. But as a supplier, I would want to know the invoices have been accepted, not accepted. What happened is what I would want to know. That's the IMS which has been brought in by the portal. Currently, before the IMS, the scenario is, why am I still saying currently? Because IMS has not been made mandatory. That's a classic question I always get from the people. Knowing that it is going to become mandatory, it is your duty to start adopting it. Currently, what you are doing, you are taking the data from your sales register, filing your R1. Likewise, all your vendors have filed R1. The details of R1 comes to 2B. 2A days have gone. So whatever which is there in the 2B will be treated as a credits, and you're filing your 3B. The purpose of electronic credit reclaim statement and IMS is to actually put a full stop, because there are people who are not claiming some credits, claiming credits which are different from whatever is there in 2B. Where these both are leading to introduction of GSTR 1A, introduction of IMS. The purpose of it is to lock GSTR 3B. Yes, you heard it right. 3B is not going to be an editable document. It is going to be locked. That means whatever you filed in 1, if you need to make any changes, change it in 1A. Whatever you filed in visible in 2B, you want to take credit or not, you can take action in IMS, and your 3B is going to be locked. When? Very soon. Outward, they have officially announced that they are locking outward. Inward, whenever they will, but that's a move at which the government is moving towards. What IMS dashboard will have? Both. It will have on outward side, inward side. On the outward, I can see what are the transactions, the approved, rejected by the recipient. On the inward side, I have 4 steps. Either I sit quiet, don't take any action, or I keep a record pending, I accept the records, or I reject a record. So the entire input credit revolves with this. Let's see with an example. If you look at it, this slide, you can see the supplier, once he raises an invoice, the supplier, when he raises an invoice, this invoice is reported to NIC IRP, IRP 1, 2, any of the IRPs. In a T+2, now currently it is almost near real time, the data gets reflected in GSTR1. The reflected data, which otherwise flowing to 2B earlier, is now parked in IMS. In the IMS, either you will reject a record. Once you reject, it would be visible into the recipient. At the same time, it gets added to the supplier from the credit note perspective as a liability in the next month. One of the action of the reject would get triggered and gets added into 3B. It would travel to GSTR 2B saying that, hey, this ITC will not be added to the recipient because he rejected it. Either accept or no action, which is called deemed acceptance, gets added to 2B. If you mark a record as pending, it gets auto-populated into the next month for an action. Nothing would travel to 2B. So apart from the regular credits, which is except RCM and ineligible credits, the other credits follow directly to 2B. So what goes to the IMS route is the regular credits. Now, when you say the ineligible credits, the place of supply not being the location of recipient, or the 30th of November, the time limit, the credits flowing into your IMS record or 2B record after 30th November would be forming part of ineligible credits. Now, the action when you say accepted, it will be part of GSTR 2B and auto-populated in 3B. If you reject, it will be part of 2B in a rejected section and it will not come to your GSTR 3B. That's an important thing that you should be aware of. If something is marked as pending, that means you want to keep it on hold. So it will not be part of 2B of the current month and it will still remain in IMS dashboard to accept in a future. So it will not be part of 2B or 3B of the current month. If you have not taken any action, it would be deemed as accepted and it will be eligible for credit in the next month. Any questions to anyone so far? If you have a questions, please put it into your Q&A section. I'll be appropriately take the questions. Right. There seems to be no questions so far. Let's continue. Now, IMS dashboard has two views, supplier view and the recipient. So when I say supplier, it is outward view and recipient inward view. Let's start with the inward view. In the inward